Hi, welcome to part 2 in our series on separation anxiety. Today, we're going to talk about what separation anxiety is not. Hi, my name is Terry Hayward. I'm a professional dog trainer and behavior consultant, and I specialize in working with families whose dogs suffer from separation anxiety. A lot of times I'll see folks online talking about separation anxiety. And again, if you refer back to our first video, I'm just using that as sort of an umbrella term. Many times people will talk about dogs who are bored at home or who might have some other underlying medical issue that hasn't yet been addressed, or who might have a lack of socialization. By way of explanation, socialization is a period of time up until about 12 to 14 weeks when we have the opportunity to create positive associations for everything that we would like the dog to feel comfortable with for the remainder of their life. After that, we've sort of missed that boat, but we can recreate those positive associations. But if there was a lack of socialization, we might have some behavioral issues. And the other thing that might be mistaken for separation anxiety could be a poor fit for that family. For example, if we have a really active family and maybe we get a dog like, I'm just thinking of my father's dog who was a pug, who just liked to hang out like a potato on the couch. That might not be the best fit, and therefore everybody's needs might not be met equally. Other things that I've heard of people talking about with regard to separation anxiety, and this one is for sure a myth, is that if you let your dog sleep in your bed, you are causing separation anxiety. This for certain is not true. For some reason, it often is predominant in the deaf dog communities, but it's definitely not the case. There's no data to support this assertion. So as long as it's not a problem for you, and this is what I say to my clients, when we go through, where does your dog sleep? What does your dog eat? And people sometimes sheepishly say, in my bed, thinking that they might be causing separation anxiety. As long as it's not an issue, you and your dog have comfortable sleep, then you're not causing any separation anxiety problems by allowing your dog to sleep in your bed. Another thing that sometimes comes up is that people say if you either greet your dog exuberantly or you don't greet your dog at all when you come home, you're causing separation anxiety. This too is not true. While it's nice, and if we have a dog who suffers from separation anxiety, we often want to remove that over-exaggerated greeting just so that it's not associated with your comings and goings. You're definitely not making separation anxiety happen for your dog. Another thing I'll hear is that people say their dog is spoiled. You are not spoiling your dog and thus causing any kind of separation anxiety. You might be communicating things that could be better with some appropriate positive reinforcement training taking place, because training equals education and communication, and therefore every interaction is training, and you could probably do that a little bit better with some guidance. But caring for your dog is not going to cause separation anxiety. To our last point, a lack of training also will not cause separation anxiety. Again, you might see behaviors that are problematic because you might have inadvertently reinforced behaviors that you don't want to see continue, but you haven't caused your dog to have separation anxiety. In fact, there's no definitive cause for separation anxiety. There are certainly contributing factors like the use of aversives, a singleton pup, a dog that may have traveled in cargo when they were really young, and other things that, again, could contribute, but it's kind of like a switch, because it's definitely nature plus nurture. We believe there's a genetic component. So for example, as we were coming out of COVID, where a lot of people adopted dogs and those dogs had no exposure to anybody else, if they were sort of predisposed, that environment may have sort of flipped the switch on having that separation anxiety come forward, but it definitely wasn't uniquely causing it on its own. So you can feel good in the fact that it is not your fault. You have not caused separation anxiety. But if you do have a dog who is suffering, there are certainly things that we can do to help your dog feel more relaxed. And this would definitely be a time when you'd want to seek some professional help. You want to rule out any underlying causes, including anxiety, which may be addressed with medication and training with your veterinarian, and work with a qualified professional trainer who uses positive reinforcement techniques and can help you navigate a protocol to aid your dog in feeling more relaxed. Thanks for watching, and in the next video in our series, we're going to talk about fixes that don't work.